Officially, welcome back, everybody, to the Canada Specialist Program webinar series. I'm joined today by Michaela, your local representative for Tourism Saskatchewan. Michaela, please take it away.
Thank you, Charlie. So welcome to Saskatchewan. My name is Michaela, and I'm happy to give you an introduction to the beautiful Prairie province with a name that's really hard to pronounce, but some very good reasons to send your clients here. More than 50% of all UK customers travel to Canada at least a second time, and they like to explore new routes. So why not Saskatchewan? With more than 2,500 hours of sunshine per year, it's also one of the sunniest provinces in Canada. So we'll start with the very basics. Saskatchewan is located in the heart of Canada between its Canadian neighbors Alberta and Manitoba. It's covering more than 650,000 square kilometers, which is almost 2.5 times the size of the UK and home to only 1.2 million people. With these numbers, the boundless expanse of the province becomes imaginable. Saskatchewan offers the perfect setting for outdoor adventures of any kind. The biggest prejudice about Saskatchewan is that it's boring and it's flat. While we have to admit that, yes, this is a Saskatchewan image and we do have a lot of wheat fields, as Saskatchewan is a major wheat producer. But think of the size again. Only 1/3 of the province is covered by prairie landscape, which is already more than those wheat fields. And 2/3 of the province are covered by wilderness, forests, Canadian Shield, and more than 100,000 lakes and rivers. All in all, Saskatchewan consists of over 250,000 kilometers or 160,000 miles of roads, the highest length of road surface compared to any other Canadian province. It's truly a road tripper's paradise. But get off the Trans-Canada Highway, which is the main road that I have highlighted here, leading through the province, and make your way on one of those other roads and right into the beautiful nature parks of the region. Only then you can discover the beauty of Saskatchewan and a sky that never ends. So why Saskatchewan? It's a province with breathtaking nature, deserted areas, and encounters of a very special kind. Here we find some landscapes that no one expects in the middle of the prairie, such as the largest sand dunes in North America. Saskatchewan has a unique spirit that comes to life in its cities, communities, and countryside. Whether in the cities or the nature parks, life takes place outdoors. Whether Mounties, ranch vacations, or encounters with First Nations, whether fishing pleasure, canoe tour, or wild rafting, there is a lot to discover in Saskatchewan, and you will meet some of the friendliest humans on earth. Are you ready to go on a little trip around Saskatchewan with me? Well, I guess you have no choice. We imagine we've picked up our rental car or motorhome in Calgary, perhaps spend a few days in southern Alberta, and are now crossing the border into Saskatchewan. The driving time is just about 4.5 hours. Our first stop is Cypress Hills Interprovincial Park. This park is shared by Alberta and Saskatchewan. And here, where the wide open prairie meets majestic pine forests, the Cypress Hills tower proudly at nearly 4,500 vertical feet. They are the highest land elevation between the Rocky Mountains and Labrador. The diverse landscape is characterized by pine forests, idyllic lakes, and gentle river courses, and especially protected in the Cypress Hills Interprovincial Park. On a high plateau on the Alberta border, the two-tiered park rises from the prairie over an area of more than 400 square kilometers. The mix of forest, wetlands, and grasslands is an ideal place for wildlife viewing and outdoor adventures of all kinds. Horses and ranches have always played an important role in the development of Western Canada and the establishment of the province of Saskatchewan, and we're really proud of our ranches. Tucked away in a scenic valley on the north slope of the Cypress Hills that we just talked about is historic Reeser Ranch. The ranch has been owned and operated by the Reeser family since 1904 and is now in its 5th generation. We see Papa Scott here in the image. The cattle ranch is a true working ranch where guests experience authentic ranch life with super friendly family connections. You can stay overnight or just enjoy the experiences offered on site And not all of them are riding, by the way. However, their sunset supper ride is ideal for customers who want to get on a horse for 2 hours to enjoy some cowboy feeling. Riding skills are not required at all. Dinner in true Western style is being served. For example, barbecued steak or hamburger, baked potato, or Granny's brown beans. And you can listen to the stories of Papa Scott. And afterwards, the horses will be saddled. Afterwards, you ride comfortably through the scenic landscape into the sunset, and you feel like Lucky Luke himself. Now our road trip takes us to Val-Marie. It's the starting point for tours into Grasslands National Park. Here you will also find a visitor center. So welcome to our first national park, Grasslands. It's protecting one of Canada's few remaining areas of undisturbed dry mixed grass and short grass prairie grasslands. For me personally, it's one of the most underrated parks in all of Canada and a clear must-see. This park boasts wide open plains that dance with the wind, and it's home to a large bison herd. Besides the quintessential backpacking, birding, camping, hiking, and horseback riding, Grasslands National Park is known for its geology and history too. I've brought a short video so you can see what it looks like. Every time I see this video, I just want to go. You've seen a little glimpse of the night sky here in the park, and at night it's just as magical. The sky lights up, and underneath thousands of dazzling stars of the darkest dark sky preserve in Canada. Here you can see one of the possible accommodations in the picture, Authentic by Parks Canada. It's really glamping at its best. The next stop on our little round trip takes us to the rolling prairies, to Lake Diefenbaker, La Riata Ranch. Set in the Saskatchewan River Valley with rolling grassy hills and canyons, the occasional coyote just stealing by, La Riata Ranch really does look like it's right out of a Wild West movie. City slickers are welcomed and brought right into the action here. La Riata is an authentic family-run working cattle ranch. Guests share hearty home-cooked suppers with the crew, and they sleep in rustic cabins. The days are filled with riding, roping, driving, and checking up on the cows, lunches in the rolling hills, and sunset rides. It's all hands-on. Real cowboys teach you how to groom and saddle your horse before you head out into the open fields. The evenings are for playing horseshoes, roasting marshmallows over the fire, or a relaxing time in the saloon. Now, our road trip takes us to the capital of the province, Regina. Regina is a true queen among Canada's cities, and not just because of its royal name. With a population of around 230,000, it can compete in size with metropolises like Vancouver or Toronto, but that's exactly what makes the charming little town so appealing. If you pay Regina a visit, you can look forward to its friendly inhabitants and a wealth of sights and attractions. Regina is a very green city, as you see here. Wascana Park is larger than Central Park in New York and Stanley Park in Vancouver combined, so the two of them together. However, most visitors come to see Canada's Mounties, famous worldwide for the traditional red parade uniform. In Regina is the country's only basic training center for the next generation of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. All young cadets complete their basic training here. The RCMP Heritage Center is right next door, and a museum showing vividly and interactively everything about the Mounties since 1873. We now continue north. 260 kilometers north of Regina lies Saskatoon. Saskatoon, also called the City of Bridges or Paris of the Prairies, no matter which name you choose, Saskatoon belongs at the top of every travel bucket list, and that clearly at any time of the year. Its idyllic location here in the South Saskatchewan River, the wonderful culinary surprises, and the first-class sights are reason enough to pay a visit to the beautiful city. About 300,000 people call the metropolitan region home. You can soak up the magic of Saskatoon by taking a stroll along the beautiful waterfront or through the streets of Broadway and Riversdale, which are full of historic charm and reveal a wide variety of specialty stores and culinary flavors. Art enthusiasts will get their money's worth at the Vermeil Modern Art Gallery of Saskatchewan, standing in a prominent location on the riverbank. It's considered the most innovative contemporary art museum in North America. In the evening, you can take an excursion on the riverboat Prairie Lily, that we see here in the picture again, for a unique view of Saskatoon's scenic skyline. The city is considered to be the most beautiful city in the prairies. On Saskatoon's northern edge lies Wanuskewin Heritage Park, a National Historic Site and proposed UNESCO World Heritage Site. This land has been a gathering place for all nations of the Northern Plains to meet for trade, hunting, and ceremonies, and thus interprets over 6,400 years of Northern Plains Indigenous culture. Features include 19 pre-contact sites, a medicine wheel, teepee rings, and buffalo jumps located along 7 kilometers of walking trails. The site is now again home to a herd of plains bison, and Wanuskewin Heritage Park features an interpretive center and gallery spaces, a restaurant offering amazing First Nations cuisine, and an impressive interpretive program, including guided hikes and traditional dance performances. Another 200 kilometers north and pretty much in the middle of the province is Prince Albert National Park. It's completely different from our other national park grasslands. It's a nearly 4,000 square kilometer big natural jam that's also called the gateway to Saskatchewan's wild and forested north. It's the southern tip of Canada's largest area of boreal forest, and we find a mosaic of forests, tundra moss, lakes, and even beautiful sandy beaches that make up the boreal pine forest and are hard to beat for beauty. The park is one of the most popular recreational areas in the province, and that year-round. Well, our time is almost up. From Prince Albert, we drive west and head to Edmonton in Alberta. It's a pretty long drive, and there are a few options for a stop on the way. For example, Lloydminster on the border of the two provinces, or beautiful Makwa Lake Provincial Park. From Edmonton, you can either fly back home or spend another few days in Alberta and head back to Calgary. I hope you've enjoyed our little intro and trip around Saskatchewan and you learned something new about the Prairie Province. Here are my contact details if you need me, and I'm also here to answer any questions you might have. Now I'll hand it back to Charlie.
Thank you so much, Michaela. Fabulous update. Saskatchewan's actually a province I haven't been to, so I learned a lot today. Did you guys learn something? Or has anybody been to Saskatchewan? Let us know. Let us know in the chat if you've been or if you've